Minnesota Vikings are looking for some wide receiver help in the NFL draft coming up, and we've hit on some of the larger names in the draft class. Again, it's not a top tier wide receiver draft class, but it is a pretty damn good one in terms of looking for wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, complementary pieces. And one of the names that have been flying under the radar, I don't know why, he's an absolute stud, is Josh Downs out of the University of North Carolina. Also, what's interesting is at the Combine, they had Thielen on for commentary. Adam Thielen raved about Josh Downs, and it's interesting because Downs could effectively be his replacement here in Minnesota. And we did a little bit of homework and watching some tape on Josh Downs, and what was really cool is watching the 2021 tape and how bad of a mofo Ty Chandler is, man. I mean, I love Ty Chandler. I think the future is very bright. That's a bit of an aside, but whatever. So let's talk about Josh Downs today. Background: 21 years young, 5'9", $171, former 4-star recruit from Sunwani, Georgia. Took his talents to North Carolina. Come on and raise up. And he was a 2-year starter in the slot. In 2021, he was slinging Sam Howell's BFF, 101 catches, 1,335 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns. In 2022, he was Drake May's BFF, 94 catches, 1,029 yards receiving, 11 touchdowns. First team All-ACC both seasons. And at the Combine, didn't test insane. Like, also, I love how we're saying that like 4.48 40 isn't insane anymore, but it's pretty good for a slot receiver. He tested great in terms of the explosive drills, the broad and the vertical leap, and also just watching on the tape, like he does have enough play speed, which is fine. Also, he's very sudden, which certainly helps things out because it's one thing to run a 40-yard dash fast in a straight line, but how is your speed in change of direction? Like, how much speed do you lose when you're turning a corner, or are you able to keep most of it? And that would turn a 4.3 guy, if they can't turn, into a 4.6 guy. But if a 4.4 guy can turn very quickly, turns them into like a 4.4, 4.5 type guy. That's important. And obviously he does have the explosiveness. And this is his scouting report from Lance Zierlein, NFL.com. Kadarius Toney, NFL comparison. Ooh, Super Bowl champion Kadarius Toney. Overview: free-flowing athlete with dynamic footwork and an instinctive feel for how to elude opponents. Downs posted off-the-charts production over the last 2 seasons as an undersized slot with an oversized will. His confidence jumps off the tape, and he has proven himself to be better at catching through contact than you might expect. While his route running is effective and fun to watch, coaches will need him to become more disciplined and efficient in order to maintain the timing of play designs. Downs might not have prototypical size, but he's well positioned to keep stacking catches and making plays as a starting NFL slot receiver. And that is what you see, where you see an ultra-competitive guy where pound for pound, one of the toughest players on the field at all times. He is a slot machine. I think that's where he's going to be relegated in the league, but that's obviously not a detriment. I think that he can do a lot of damage there. And plus, I mean, 11 personnel is basically the new base offense around the league. He's got insane agility inside. He probably has the best footwork in the class. And it's, I don't know, like crossing over, pardon the pun, but crossing over sports, Allen Iverson, where he's just setting cornerbacks up, and they're on skates. I mean, they got young guys, usually freshmen or sophomores in the slot, just trying to check Josh Downs, and they can't do it. Absolute quarterback's best friend over the middle. It's a little bit different than, say, a guy like Zay Flowers, where, I mean, Zay Flowers ain't about contact over the middle. Josh Downs certainly is. He's feisty. He's got a little bit of Steve Smith to him, even though Steve Smith was more of an outside receiver, but just a short, small receiver who's going to fight you every single time for a contested catch. Ain't afraid about going over the middle. Sure hands, only 3 drops in 2022. He's got speed, but he's not a burner. He does have some punt return capability as well. You know, the only downside, blocking has to work on that. But given his attitude, given his intangibles, I certainly think that he will have that in spades coming up in the National Football League. And for me, I mean, a lot of people are sort of down on Downs. I see him as a fringe first-round guy, and almost you could put Addison, Flowers, and Downs as relatively interchangeable to me, because I think specifically for the Vikings, this is what these rankings are. I think it's JSN number 1 for me, Quinn Johnson number 2, and then just sort of Addison, Flowers, Downs as a second tier of receivers for me. And then I put, Hyatt. Actually, I may even put Tillman over Hyatt. I mean, that's a little bit of a controversial statement, but it is what it is. But I do think that Josh Downs is, a fringe first-round guy, definitely a top 40 talent, and I think that he's going to make a team very, very happy. And like I said, Maybe he is just going to be a slot-only guy, but I think that you see a lot of scouting reports comparing him to like Cole Beasley, Jamison Crowder. I think that he could be a little bit more explosive, even a little bit more dynamic. I guess the Kadarius Toney comparison is pretty apt, but could he be a sure-handed, reliable guy like an Edelman at the next level? Edelman plus with a little bit more downfield speed. Yes, I think he certainly could be that guy, and that's why. It seems like he's being slept on. It seems like the other receivers get more of the headlines, but Josh Downs is an absolute stud. But your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings need to draft UNC wide receiver Josh Downs. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo, but till next time, Skol, production value.